Ever wonder how football finals went from glorious chaos to VAR reviews that take longer than a Netflix episode? Picture this: a tournament where military dictators allegedly fix matches, where the greatest player ever headbutts his way out of immortality, and where a teenager trades goals with a superstar in front of a billion people. From Argentina's military junta pulling strings in 1978 to Messi and Mbappe delivering the greatest final ever in 2022, we're about to witness 44 years of World Cup finals that redefine drama, controversy, and pure footballing artistry. Grab your popcorn and buckle up, because we're diving into penalty shootouts that broke hearts, referee decisions that sparked international incidents, and moments so incredible they seem scripted by Hollywood. This is the evolution of World Cup finals from 1978 to 2022, where every 4 years, the world stopped to watch legends be born and dreams get shattered in real time. 1978, Argentina versus Netherlands, the Shady Spectacular. Buenos Aires, 1978. Argentina hosts the World Cup under a military dictatorship that makes Game of Thrones politics look subtle. The Dutch accuse the Argentines of using stalling tactics to delay the match, questioning the legality of René van de Kerkhof's plaster cast, while 75,000 fans created an atmosphere somewhere between a football match and a revolution. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Argentina needed to beat Peru by 4 goals to reach the final ahead of Brazil, and somehow scored 6 past Peru's Argentine-born goalkeeper Ramon Quiroga. Coincidence? The football gods have a sense of humor. The final itself was pure theater. Mario Kempes, Argentina's golden-haired hero, scored in the 38th minute, sending Buenos Aires into delirium. The Netherlands equalized through Dick Nanninga in the 82nd minute, proving that Dutch resilience transcends suspicious circumstances. Extra time was Kemp's masterpiece. He scored again in the 105th minute, dancing through Dutch defenders like they were traffic cones. Daniel Bertoni sealed it in the 115th minute, and Argentina had their first World Cup. The aftermath? Ticker tape rained from the sky. The Dutch refused to attend the trophy ceremony, and questions about legitimacy persist to this day. But Kemp's 6 goals earned him the Golden Boot, and Argentina celebrated like they'd won independence all over again. 1982, Italy versus West Germany. Rossi's redemption. Madrid's Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, 1982. Paolo Rossi arrived at this tournament carrying more baggage than a luxury cruise passenger. He'd been banned for 2 years over a match-fixing scandal and looked rusty in the group stages. Then he exploded. By the final, Rossi had scored 6 goals, including a hat-trick against Brazil that remains one of the World Cup's greatest individual performances. Germany, meanwhile, had survived a semi-final thriller against France that featured the first penalty shootout in World Cup history. The final was Italy's coronation. Rossi opened the scoring in the 57th minute with a poacher's finish that proved redemption comes to those who wait. Marco Tardelli doubled the lead in the 69th minute, then delivered the most iconic celebration in football history, a primal scream of joy that captured every Italian's emotions. Antonio Altobelli added a third in the 81st minute before Paul Breitner scored a consolation goal for Germany. At 40 years old, goalkeeper Dino Zoff became the oldest captain to lift the World Cup, while Italy's president Sandro Pertini made a cheeky finger-wag gesture to TV cameras that became an instant meme before memes existed. Rossi collected the Golden Boot and Golden Ball, completing one of sport's greatest comeback stories. 1986. Argentina versus West Germany. Maradona's masterpiece. Mexico City's Azteca Stadium, 1986. Diego Maradona had already achieved football immortality with the hand of God and goal of the century against England, but the final would determine whether he was merely great or truly divine. Germany arrived battle-tested, having survived a semi-final epic against France. Argentina came with Maradona in full flow, orchestrating every attack like a conductor commanding a symphony. José Luis Brown headed Argentina into the lead in the 23rd minute, and for a moment, the script seemed written. Jorge Valdano made it 2-0 in the 56th minute, and Mexican waves began rippling around the Azteca. But Germany, as always, refused to die quietly. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge pulled one back in the 74th minute. Then Rudi Völler equalized in the 81st minute, sending German fans into delirium and Maradona into overdrive. The defining moment came in the 84th minute. Maradona received the ball in midfield, threaded a perfect pass through three German defenders, and Jorge Bruchaga finished clinically. 3-2 to Argentina. Maradona had delivered his country's second World Cup, earning the Golden Ball and cementing his status as football's ultimate magician. In that moment, he wasn't just playing football, he was rewriting its very definition. 1990, West Germany versus Argentina. Revenge in Rome. Rome Stadio Olimpico, 1990. 4 years after Mexico City heartbreak, Germany returned for revenge against defending champions Argentina in the first World Cup final rematch in history. This wasn't the beautiful game. This was chess played with studs and sweat. Argentina arrived at the final as a wounded animal, missing suspended stars and relying on an aging Maradona who was operating on one good ankle and pure willpower. The game was tactical torture, with both teams so afraid of losing that attacking became an afterthought. Argentina became the first team to fail to score in a World Cup final, their creativity stifled by German discipline and their own conservative approach. The decisive moment came in the 85th minute when Argentine defender Roberto Sensini fouled Rudi Völler in the penalty area. Andreas Brehme stepped up and buried the penalty with the precision of a German engineer, delivering Germany their third World Cup and revenge for 1986. Franz Beckenbauer became the first person to win the World Cup as both player and coach, while Maradona's tears of the final whistle captured the agony of a genius denied his perfect ending. 1994, Brazil versus Italy, the penalty heartbreak. Pasadena's Rose Bowl, 1994. Under the scorching California sun, Brazil and Italy delivered the most anticlimactic spectacle in World Cup final history. 120 minutes of cautious football that ended 0-0, sending us to the tournament's first penalty shootout final. This was defensive football at its most suffocating peak. Italy deployed their legendary Catenaccio system, while Brazil seemed paralyzed by the pressure of ending their 24-year World Cup drought. Chances were rarer than a referee admitting a mistake. The penalty shootout was pure theater of cruelty. Franco Baresi and Marcio Santos missed for their respective teams. Demetrio Albertini and Romario scored. Alberigo Avani and Branco converted. Daniele Massaro missed for Italy, while Dunga scored for Brazil. Then came the moment that defined careers. Roberto Baggio, Italy's star and Golden Ball winner, stepped up needing to score to keep Italy alive. His penalty sailed over the crossbar like a bird seeking freedom, and Brazil erupted in celebration. Brazil had their fourth World Cup, but the final left everyone feeling slightly empty, like watching a masterpiece movie with a disappointing ending. 1998, France versus Brazil. Zidane's bald brilliance. St. Denis, Paris, 1998. France hosted their first World Cup with the weight of a nation's expectations pressing down like a Parisian thunderstorm. Brazil arrived as favorites, carrying Ronaldo, the most feared striker on the planet. Then everything went sideways. Hours before kickoff, Ronaldo suffered a mysterious seizure and was initially left out of the team sheet, only to be reinstated at the last minute. He played like a man sleepwalking through a nightmare. Zinedine Zidane seized the moment like a maestro grabbing a conductor's baton. Two perfectly placed headers from corner kicks in the 27th and 45th minutes, both off identical deliveries, gave France a commanding 2-0 halftime lead. The Stade de France transformed into a cathedral of noise. Emmanuel Petit added a third in stoppage time, completing France's 3-0 victory and sparking celebrations that flooded the Champs-Élysées with 2 million delirious fans. Zidane's performance was poetry in motion, a bald-headed artist painting masterpieces with his forehead. France had won their first World Cup on home soil, and Zidane had announced himself as the planet's most elegant footballer. The scenes of Parisian celebration lasted for days, with fountains flowing with champagne and chants of Zidane for president echoing through the streets. 2002, Brazil versus Germany, Ronaldo's redemption. Yokohama, Japan, 2002. 4 years after his mysterious final collapse in Paris, Ronaldo arrived in the land of the rising sun, carrying the weight of unfinished business and a peculiar triangular haircut that became the tournament's most memed moment. Germany had reached the final through grit and goalkeeping brilliance from Oliver Kahn, who seemed to have made a pact with physics itself. Brazil countered with the most talented squad since 1970. Ronaldinho's magic, Rivaldo's experience, and Ronaldo's hunger for redemption. The final was Ronaldo's personal therapy session. In the 67th minute, he pounced on a rebound after Kahn spilled Rivaldo's shot, scoring his first World Cup final goal with the determination of a man settling old scores. 8 minutes later, he struck again, a precise finish after a perfect through ball from Kleberson that left Kahn stranded like a tourist without a map. Brazil won 2-0, securing their 5th World Cup and completing Ronaldo's journey from mystery man to Golden Boot winner with 8 goals. His celebration, pure joy mixed with 4 years of bottled emotion, reminded the world why football is called the beautiful game. 2006, Italy versus France, Zidane's headbutt finale. Berlin's Olympiastadion, 2006. Zinedine Zidane's farewell tour was supposed to end with a golden crown, not a red car that would define his legacy forever. The final began like a fairy tale. Zidane converted a 7th-minute penalty with an audacious Panenka chip that floated over Gianluigi Buffon like a feather defying gravity. At 34, the maestro was conducting his final symphony. Marco Materazzi equalized for Italy in the 19th minute with a powerful header, setting up 90 minutes of tactical chess between 2 defensive masterpieces. Then came the 110th minute, the moment that turned football's greatest artist into its most tragic figure. After Zidane offered Materazzi his shirt, the Italian responded with a crude comment about preferring Zidane's sister. Zidane headbutt Materazzi for the off-color remark, delivering the most shocking moment in World Cup final history. "I want to ask for forgiveness from all the children who watched that," Zidane later said, but the damage was done. France's talisman was sent off, their momentum evaporated, and Italy won the penalty shootout 5-3. Zidane's career ended with the ultimate contradiction, a moment of genius followed by a moment of madness. 2010, Spain versus Netherlands, beautiful brutality. Johannesburg's Soccer City Stadium, 2010. Spain arrived at their first World Cup final, carrying the weight of a nation that had perfected everything about football except winning it when it mattered most. The Netherlands came with a different philosophy. If you can't outplay them, kick them into submission. This final produced 14 yellow cards and 1 red card, more hardware than a carpenter's workshop. The match was a masterclass in controlled violence disguised as football. Dutch players treated Spanish ankles like piñatas, while Spain responded with the patience of monks and the passing precision of Swiss watchmakers. In the 116th minute of extra time, Andrés Iniesta received a pass from Cesc Fabregas, took 1 touch to control, and fired a right-footed shot past Martin Stekelenburg that rippled the net and liberated an entire nation. Spain's first World Cup was secured through beautiful brutality. They absorbed punishment for 116 minutes, then delivered the knockout punch with surgical precision. Iniesta's celebration, removing his shirt to reveal a tribute to deceased teammate Dani Jarque, captured the emotional magnitude of Spain's breakthrough moment. 2014, Germany versus Argentina, Götze's golden moment. Rio de Janeiro's Maracanã Estádio, 2014. The Cathedral of Football hosted its first World Cup final in 64 years, with Germany and Argentina writing the latest chapter in their epic rivalry. This was precision versus passion, German engineering against Argentine artistry. Lionel Messi carried his country's hopes on shoulders that seemed too small for such enormous expectations, while Germany arrived with a machine-like collective that had dismantled Brazil 7-1 in the semifinals. For 113 minutes, The match was a tactical stalemate, beautiful in its tension, frustrating in its lack of clear chances. Then Joachim Low made the substitution that changed history, bringing on 22-year-old Mario Götze with instructions to show the world you're better than Messi. 7 minutes later, Götze received a perfect cross from Andrés Iniesta, controlled it with his chest, and volleyed it past Sergio Romero with his left foot, a moment of technical perfection that separated champions from runners-up. Germany became the first European nation to win a World Cup in South America, while Messi's dejected figure collecting the golden ball became the tournament's most heartbreaking image. 2018, France vs. Croatia, VAR's World Cup debut. Moscow's Luzhniki Stadium, 2018. This final marked football's entry into the digital age, with VAR making its World Cup debut and immediately stirring controversy in the sport's biggest match. Croatia, a nation of 4 million people, had reached their first final through sheer willpower and Luka Modric's midfield mastery. France countered with Kylian Mbappe's pace and Antoine Griezmann's guile. The drama began early. Mario Mandzukic scored the first own goal in World Cup final history in the 18th minute, deflecting Griezmann's free kick past his own goalkeeper. Croatia equalized through Ivan Perisic's brilliant strike in the 28th minute. Then came VAR's moment. After reviewing a handball by Perisic, referee Nestor Pitana awarded France a penalty that Griezmann converted in the 38th minute, the first VAR-assisted goal in World Cup final history. Paul Pogba and Mbappe added second-half goals, with the 19-year-old Mbappe becoming only the second teenager after Pelé to score in a World Cup final. France won 4-2, but Croatia won hearts with their fearless football. The final proved that even in the digital age, individual brilliance and teenage dreams still write football's greatest stories. 2022, Argentina vs. France, the greatest final ever. Doha's Lusail Stadium, 2022. In the desert heat of Qatar, two superstars delivered a final that transcended sport and entered the realm of pure theater. Lionel Messi, at 35, carrying the weight of a nation's 36-year wait. Kylian Mbappe, at 23, representing football's future with devastating pace and clinical finishing. For 80 minutes, this looked like Argentina's coronation. Messi converted a 23rd-minute penalty after a foul on Ángel Di Maria, who added a second with a brilliant counterattacking finish in the 36th minute. Argentina led 2-0, and Messi's date with destiny seemed confirmed. Then Mbappe happened. In 97 seconds, from the 80th to 81st minutes, the Paris Saint-Germain superstar scored twice, first from the penalty spot, then with a thunderous volley that left Argentina's defense looking like statues in a museum. Extra time was pure madness. Messi scored again in the 109th minute, completing his World Cup redemption arc. But Mbappe answered with another penalty in the 118th minute, completing his hat trick and sending the final to a penalty shootout. The shootout was Argentina's moment. Emiliano Martinez made a crucial save, and when Gonzalo Montiel converted the winning penalty, Messi finally had his World Cup. The statistics tell part of the story. Messi's second golden ball, Mbappe's golden boot with 8 goals, but they can't capture the emotional magnitude of football's greatest final. This wasn't just a match. It was proof that sport can still produce miracles in an age of cynicism. From the alleged conspiracies of Buenos Aires 1978 to the digital drama of Qatar 2022, World Cup finals have evolved from shadowy political theater to global spectacles broadcast to billions. We've witnessed everything. Military dictators allegedly pulling strings, the greatest player ever losing his mind in the final moment, teenagers announcing themselves on the world's biggest stage, and VAR decisions that sparked international debates. Through it all, one truth remains constant. The World Cup final is where legends are born and dreams die in real time. Whether it's Kemp's dancing through Dutch defenders, Zidane's moment of madness, or Messi finally claiming his crown, these 90-minute dramas have provided more plot twists than Shakespeare's complete works. So the next time someone complains about VAR taking too long, just remember, There was a time when World Cup finals were decided by military juntas and referee bribes. At least now the controversy comes with instant replay. The beautiful game's greatest stage continues to evolve, but its capacity to break hearts and create heroes remains beautifully, eternally unchanged.